You might have noticed that anamorphic lenses have become very popular. And that's because content creators and filmmakers want their videos to stand out with a cinematic aesthetic. Platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram love visuals that look different, and an anamorphic lens gives them that look. But the reason for this surge in anamorphic lenses is the fact that they've become more affordable, which means normal people like us can get that cinematic, unique look.
You see, anamorphic lenses squeeze a wider image onto your camera sensor. And that means when you de-squeeze that in post, you're gonna get a wider field of view without really needing a wide angle lens. But not just that, anamorphic lenses also are unique because they give you oval shaped bokeh and they give you horizontal looking flares, whether it's gold flares or blue flares. But for some reason, anamorphic lenses just give you that cinematic vibe, that cinematic aspect ratio that makes everything look like it's from a movie. The X100VI is already my everyday carry camera. I take this camera with me pretty much everywhere to take photos. That means it is portable, compact, and just easy to lug around. But because I already take my camera with me everywhere and I take the X100VI with me everywhere to almost every single event or place, why not adapt an anamorphic adapter and get anamorphic video footage straight from the camera itself?
You see, the X100VI shoots 6.2K, and even though the bitrate isn't as high as I want it to be, the fact that you can get that much resolution and shoot in f-log2 means that you have the ability to crop, you get better color and dynamic range from a compact camera. Add the fact that it has IBIS, meaning it's easier to get stable cinematic shots and not worry about setting up a gimbal or a tripod at all times. And most importantly, it has a built-in ND. This results in not having to carry filters or adapters, and you can get that proper motion blur with the shutter angle rule.
And for me, the goal with this setup is not to get the highest quality image possible, but it was to go as light as possible. To be able to go around the city on foot with no bag or no tripod and just get good anamorphic cinematic looking footage. Now there's several anamorphic adapters that you can pretty much set up on your lenses, but the one that made the most sense to me was this, the SLRmagic Anamorphic 40mm. And the reason this made sense to me is the price. This was the cheapest anamorphic adapter that I could find. And the way I thought about it is, because you put the anamorphic adapters on your lenses and the X100VI already uses a fixed lens, the easiest thing is to adapt this anamorphic adapter straight on to the X100VI's fixed lens. Now there are a bunch of other adapters that I will leave in the description for you guys to check out, but when it comes to cost, this was the best and cheapest one that I could find.
So to set this up, you need two adapters to get it working. First, you need a 52 to 52mm female coupling ring. And then you need a 52 to a 49mm step down ring to put on the lens of the X100VI. Once everything is set up, just turn your anamorphic adapter till you get the right angle and it is tightly secured.
There are a few things that you should take note of when using this adapter. The continuous autofocus will work with the adapter on it, so make sure to keep your autofocus in continuous or single depending on your scene. But that's not all. If your subject is farther away from 6 feet, then you can set your manual focus distance right here to normal. But if your subject is closer than 6 feet, then all you should do is turn this ring to near, and then you will get autofocus on the closer subject. So make sure you keep that in mind when using this adapter because it could get a bit confusing. If you're a person who's looking for gold anamorphic flares or silver anamorphic flares, then this is not really the adapter for you because the Anamorphic by SLRmagic gives you blue anamorphic flares, as you can see here in this footage.
The anamorphic adapter will give you a wider look, and there will be some softness and autofocus distortion on the edges, which makes you get a unique look and gives you some character to your shot. Once you have your footage ready, make sure that you de-squeeze it in post. The easiest way to do this in Final Cut is to scale your Y to 77%, as the squeeze on this adapter is 1.33x. But for other video editors, I will leave a link below in the description for you to check out. Now the pros here are the portability and the fact that you can get anamorphic footage from a small camera for a cheaper kind of setup instead of buying several PL mount anamorphic lenses.
This thing is a cheap anamorphic adapter. I think it was around $500 Canadian. I'll just put the price right here for you guys to check out. But this is cheaper than other anamorphic adapters that cost in the thousands of dollars. So with anamorphic lenses and anamorphic adapters, you get a unique wide anamorphic look and the anamorphic flares that everyone is looking for, and that gives your video this distinct look that tells people that this was shot with an anamorphic lens. If it is very, very bright, then you can just adapt a 62mm ND thread right on the SLR anamorphod, and 62mm is a common thread, so you can pretty much find these for cheap on Amazon. But that way you get even more ND, and that way you can shoot at like f2 during a bright sunny day.
Having something with you at all times and the ability to create and be creative and get a unique look that you can't really get before is what makes this so convenient, as the best camera is the one that you always have with you. And the X100VI is always with me.
But what about the cons of this? Well, there's a few cons, right? Because the X100VI is a fixed focal length, that means you can't really zoom in. And that means there's some shots that you want to take with video that are pretty much impossible, even if you zoom in with your feet, because the compression is just not the same. And obviously, because of the anamorphic adapter, you're gonna get a softer look on the edges, but that is just part of its unique look. Now, if you are a person who's looking for silver flares or gold flares, you're not gonna get that here, only gonna get blue anamorphic flares. On the X100VI, if you are shooting at 6.2K, there is a 1.23x crop. However, because you're using an anamorphic adapter, you're gonna get a bit of a wider look, so that doesn't really affect it that much. But probably the most annoying thing about this whole setup is just how many rings and adapters you need just to get it going. So you need like the coupling ring, you need the 52 to 52 female ring, which is something that I've never used before, that I had to like dig on Amazon to find, which I will leave a link to in the description. And you also need a step down ring from 52mm, which is the thread size of the anamorphod adapter, to a 49, which is the diameter size of the X100VI. So the most annoying thing was pretty much just the setup of this. But one more thing that I did realize today while I was shooting that was a pretty annoying con is I usually use the X100VI to take as many photos as I can. And the fact that I have this anamorphic adapter kind of forces me to focus more on video rather than photo. And you can still shoot photos with this. However, you do have to de-squeeze these photos in Photoshop, because I don't think in Lightroom you can do that de-squeeze. So that is a bit annoying. You do have to shift your focus completely from shooting photo to more of shooting video. But it is a very compact setup, so you can always, remove it, put it in your pocket, take your photos, and then put it back on. Here are my final thoughts on using an anamorphic adapter on the X100VI, thus turning it into a cinema camera. If you're a person who does want to experiment with anamorphic looks, but you don't really want to break the bank and buy a full set of anamorphic lenses or buy one anamorphic lens, this is the best way to kind of get that experience of shooting anamorphic for a cheaper price. Now, obviously, the quality is not going to be the same as a proper anamorphic lens, but you do get the same experience with the flares and the oval bokeh. The flares are not as strong as you would get on an actual anamorphic lens, but it's also very versatile because you can just adapt this on the set of lenses that you already have. So even if you don't want to use this on the X100VI and you just want to use it on your X mount lenses or E mount lenses or whatever lenses you already have, this is a pretty simple and easy way to get a unique anamorphic look on your camera or on your videos for your next shoot. So that is it for this video. I highly recommend you try this out. I'm going to leave a link in the description for all these products that I've talked about today, the NDs, the adapters, just so you can try it out. thank you guys so much for watching. And please subscribe because I am trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And I will see you guys in the next one.
Alright guys, welcome back. This is Taha's channel, right? But I'm doing a little takeover. We're looking at the new Anamorphic, bro. Anamorphic on the X100VI. Incredible.